August 10th is the 222nd day of the year. It is a 222 portal. There's another one on February 22nd, February being the second month. And I feel that the one in August is a little bit, there's a little bit of different energy to it because it actually occurs during the Lionsgate portal, right? The Lionsgate portal continues until the 12th of August. So we're kind of, its peak is on the 8th, but it continues through. Plus we have that Mercury retrograde and the full moon and everything else going on. So this seems to be quite a powerful one at this point, right? And portals are really good opportunities for us to actually really tap into ourselves, go deep within our souls, and helps us with manifesting the things that we really desire. It helps us to connect to the things that really matter, right? And so in Color Mirrors, I had 3 bottles, and I feel that we can actually all use a little bit of support over anything and see what we need to help carry us through and go into a really great space. So I pulled 3 bottles that are connected to the 222 portal, and the first one is this bottle here, and this bottle is number 2. And this bottle is called the Moon. And really, there's like this, if you look at it, there's that real deep, still, blue water connection to that. It's about flow, but stillness at the same time, right? You have a little bit of a different feel on the top of the water than you do in the depth of the water, right? And it's about letting go and about breathing and remembering to breathe, right? To remember to go into that space. It allows us to go into a nice sigh and go into breath, right? It's called the Moon, so it's tapping into the moon goddess and feminine energy, and feelings really come up when we're going into that space. So it's important for us to actually connect with those feelings and really tap into what those feelings really represent for us. Here's a space where we can do it, this portal. It's a really good time for us, and just to really accept what those feelings are without judgment. Whatever they are, just accept them and go into that space. And really also go into the flow of life, right? Think about going into the flow of life and allowing things to open and occur as they should, right? It's easier to flow with water rather than to try and push it uphill. So that is the first bottle. The second bottle is this lovely here. This is number 22, and this bottle is called Forgiveness. It's just there's such lovely colors. I feel that they're just so calming and embracing. But more than anything, this bottle is about being in love, being in joy, and being in gratitude, because that is really essentially the keys to forgiveness. And we have to really understand that when we fail to forgive, what really is happening, it is keeping us trapped in judgment. Because if you don't have judgment on something, then it's going to be quite easy for us to actually go into a state of forgiveness, right? And when you go into a state of judgment, when you're in judgment, it just brings in more of the same. So we attract what we judge, and so it's good to actually stay out of judgment, right? And then you just get this perpetuating cycle, right? And you also you're forever tied to the situation, the person, the event, right? By staying in that space of deciding not to forgive them, right? So if you forgive them, then you kind of cut that tie, right? And sometimes the best way for us to understand that is to actually look at the gifts and the things that we learned from the event, the person, or the situation, right? And there's great gifts in everything, I find, right? Just if you look deep enough, you'll find them. And no matter what that experience was, there's always a gift somewhere I think we can find. And keep in mind, as you go into a state of release, which you can actually do in this portal, you'll be able to do that with greater ease and grace when you go into that space of love, joy, and gratitude, right? So that is the second bottle. And the third bottle is this lovely here, G22 Sacred Mystery. It's got platinum and olive in it, pale olive. This is the divine feminine awakening. It's this new reality on a planet, the calm after chaos in many ways, sort of like the Tower bottle in a lot of ways, where the tower has to crumble in order for us to rebuild. I think 2020 was a really good example of that when the pandemic hit, and how there was mass chaos for a long long time, but I think we came out of that in a very different light, a lot more conscious, I think, as a collective at large, right? But here we have the perfect balance between masculine and feminine, the balance being inward of, authority and compassion for the self and compassion for all others, right? It is where we understand that we are sacred and our body is sacred, and the earth is sacred, and basically all that is sacred, right? And the deep connection that we have with that, and how if we need to be okay with ourselves, right, in order to shine outwards, right? Peace and compassion really radiate from this bottle, and during this portal, it is really a time for us to look inward and then to decide what it is that we want to radiate out to the world. So there you have it, the third bottle.